Welcome back, listeners, to a brand new episode of The New Standard. And you're checking out the program on Sunday, October 13th, 2024, after the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Las Vegas Raiders 32-13. As always, if you want to participate in the program, hit us with a like and a subscribe. Also, I want you guys to follow a friend of mine who does a show out there, David Todd, outstanding guy, media guy in Pittsburgh, is starting a YouTube channel. Make sure you check out his channel as well. But again, you can always like and subscribe to the program. Steelers travel out west and get a big victory against the Las Vegas Raiders to jump to 4-2. Very solid performance. Started out a little bit slow on the defensive side of football, giving up an early touchdown, but played solid football overall to get the dub. Big up to my guy, Chris Osu, wrote What It Do. Solid win from the Steelers. And for all you Justin Fields haters, you can go kick rocks. Oh, and by the way, that makes me, I got to describe or tell you guys why the title is Shut Yo Up. It's because a friend of mine, Quincy, we were watching a game years ago, and it was a Raider game. I think it was the Raiders against the Colts. Maybe this is several years ago, opening week. And one of the players on the Colts looked at one of the Raiders players after a play and told him to shut your up. And so that's always been a thing of ours to go back and forth. And Quincy is a Raiders fan. And so I had to give Quincy the business. And so that's why we named the show Shut Your BA Up. And before we jump into the first segment of the show, big up to everybody out there who's online. Big up to Mr. Tummy. Big up to KJ Mobanzo. Hopefully I said it right. KM in the place to be. And he wrote, man, this offense is ground game, not air game. And let's jump into some of the segments. And one of the segments we always jump into the show is Numbers Don't Lie. We also jump into a segment where we talk about the winners and losers of the game. We also grade out the game. And then we kind of wrap the show up. Solid victory again for the Pittsburgh Steelers out west. Anybody listening to the show made the trip out to Vegas? If you did, let me know if you did in the chat, and let me know how it was watching the game out in Vegas. Anytime you watch that place, that building on TV, man, it looks awesome in there. And I can remember living in the West Coast for so many years, going to so many Steeler games on the West Coast, watching them lose. Big up to KJ. Mobanzo, I got the pronunciation correct. Big up to you. Where are you from, my brother? Just let me know in the chat. I've seen so many losses on the West Coast, so to see them go out west to get a win is refreshing. Also, I guess I do have some influence and power over the outcome of games because I intentionally picked the Raiders to win 24-21, knowing that I have the reverse picking effect. And so, because I picked the Raiders, that is why the Steelers won. Okay, outside Philly, Pittsburgh born, indeed. I'm from Pittsburgh as well. I'm from the north side, KJ Mabanzo. I'm from the north side, Manchester, 15233. Big up to you and big up to everybody out there who's from Pittsburgh. Listen to the show. Big up to Fifi. Big up to Felicia. And big up to Steeler Nation. Solid win. Let's jump into the numbers don't lie. And I'm glad Felicia brought it up. We count 30. Can't believe it. That is the number one number I want to jump into. And the Steelers scored a season high 32 points this season. I mean, that's epic for the Steelers. I was of the thought that they might score 30 once, twice, maybe. But it's good to see that the Steelers got 30, and they got 30 on the road. One downside of the game is outstanding rookie center Zach Frazier got banged up with an ankle injury. We'll hear what happened to that. But it's outstanding that the Steelers can go on the road and get 32 points. I don't know if I should say it was a hostile building, or I don't even know if I should say if the game was on the road, because damn, if you look in the stands, you see all those Steeler fans again. And like I said earlier on other shows, is that Steelers don't play road games. And that was evidence of it. I mean, I know there are road games on the schedule just because they're not at Acrisure, but geez, if you saw all those Steeler fans in Vegas and man, you had the lady with "You're in Steelers country" sign, wow. And she didn't get beat up. That is just impressive. It's a brand new day. And Marcus J, let's be positive here. Let's be positive here. Marcus J chimed in instead. They still bad. Let's just take the win and be happy. They got 32 points. It is still growing. It is a work in progress. And it's going to be a work in progress when you have a quarterback that processes a tick slow and you have a very inexperienced offensive line who lost maybe their second best offensive lineman today in a Zach Frazier. But it's better to win and correct. And there were some positive things in this game. And Marcus J said they might jump the lady with the Steeler country sign later on. Another number that I wanted to jump into in this game is actually 6.0. At least it was when I wrote it down at that time, but it dropped to 5.2. So the number I wanted to point out was 5.2. The Steelers averaged 5.2 yards per carry in the game. And one number really stood out in the game in terms of yards per carry was 7.6 from Najee Harris. Justin Fields averaged 5.4, and Jay Ward averaged 4.3. You've got a few rushers over 4 yards a carry. That's the first time that's happened in the game this season. So that is positive as well. Overall, they ran the ball for 35 times for 183 yards. Najee Harris has had a long of 3. And also what stood out in terms of them rushing the football today was the fact that they got 3 rushing touchdowns. And hopefully that won't be their season high, but it is impressive for this Steeler offense to get 3 touchdowns rushing. Justin Fields had 2 of those. So it was nice to see Najee Harris bust out and really get going in terms of the run game. Also, you are listening to the new standard, and the name of the program this week is Shut Your BA Up. Also, listeners, I am doing a true or false TikTok. So look for L Williams _TNS. That's where my TikTok is. And I put true or falses on there just to get your thoughts. Let me take a couple of questions here. Fifi jumped in and said, man, how does Russell take the next game without feeling the burn or stress? Russell is not starting the next game. They won the game. They're 4-2. They scored 32 points, their season high. Russell is not starting next week. That is period. That is out. That is not happening. Big up to my guy Melvin. Big up to you. Here's another number that jumped out in the game was the 3 turnovers that the Steelers got. TJ Watt was very monumental in getting 2 of those, causing 2 big fumbles where they were able to recover a fumble in the red zone as the Raiders were going into the red zone to score a touchdown. They also got an interception. And here's the number in terms of numbers don't lie that's absolutely outstanding is +7 turnover differential. They've got 7 interceptions and 4 fumbles. I'm going to guess that +7 turnover differential is probably top 5 in the league. I would guess maybe top 3. They're doing an excellent job of taking the ball away and not turning it over. And I want to jump into this comment by KM. He said Justin is the starter for the rest of the season. I kind of believe that. I kind of believe that. I mean, what is the point if, he's playing uneven at times? Sure, we acknowledge that. But the guy went on the road. I don't care who it's against. It could be against the North Side hard ballers. I mean, you go on the road, score 32 against an NFL team and get a victory. I mean, you're going to start. He didn't turn the ball over. They scored 32 points. They had their most points in a game this season. That's called he's going to start. I mean, Russ is going to have to just stew on the sideline. I mean, a lot is going to have to go bad for Justin Fields not to continue to be the starter. Today was mixed, it was a little uneven, but it was solid. Big up to my guy, Sean Manahan. And Sean said, and thank you for the super chat contribution. Justin reminds me of Cordell Stewart circa 1997. I mean, I think that's a spot on comparison. There are some things you're going to have to live with Justin Fields as your starter. But one thing you can live with is his ability to make plays in the red zone with his legs. I mean, this is the best the Steelers have looked in the red zone for quite some time. This is why KJ makes the point that he's going to start. But this is the reason why some people think there's still a quarterback competition, because at least when I wrote the stat down, the Steelers were, and let me take a look at the stat right now. I think they were 3-14 on third down conversions. Excuse me. They were 4-13 on third down conversions for 31%. And that's tough. I mean, some of the reason they scored 32 points is because the Raiders are just bad. Had a bad first drive on defense. If not, it's probably 32-7, maybe 32-6. However, they've got to perform better on third down. And part of that is they've got to be on schedule more. And they cannot be as penalized as they were in this game. That's the other thing that sticks out to me when you're talking about the Steeler team, because they don't get a ton of explosives. They only average 4.7 yards in this game. You can't give up a lot of penalties. They were 7 penalties for 50 yards, so they've got to clean that up. But overall, it was the best offensive game in terms of a score perspective that they played this year, and absolutely the best offensive game from a rushing standpoint. When you look at this offense, if they can stay on schedule with the threat of Justin Fields' legs, they will be able to convert many third downs and be much better. They still have to generate some explosives in this game. In terms of winners and losers on the offensive side of football, the winner is absolutely Najee Harris. Najee ran the ball 14 times for 106, averaged 7.6 yards per carry, a long of 36 for 1 TD. And it's not just the stats, it's how he ran. It's the attitude in which he ran the football with. He ran angry today. He ran angry. He ran pissed off. And he looked like he was a man on a mission where they had to get that dub. And he ran like, I'm getting this damn dub. Shut your bit up, Quincy. That I'm getting this dub. That I got to get this dub. I got to run hard. I got to come out here and set a tone. And he ran the ball really tough and strong and ran angry from the start. Thank you, James. I was looking for a word, and angry is the best way to describe it. He ran angry. He ran pissed off. 100% effort from Harris today. He was pissed. He pissed. He was pissed. He ran pissed. He ran angry. And you have to see that. The other person that stands out to me, and that's a good way to describe it too, Kenneth McNair Jr., is he ran determined. And Aerial 75 props to Najee for finally making a splash play in the running game. Another guy that stood out to me in terms of winners and losers was Justin Fields. Justin Fields was fantastic in this game, not from a passing perspective, but he was dynamic with his legs. 9 of 61 for 6.8 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. He is outstanding in the red zone because his legs provide just danger for defenses. His ability to extend and make plays with his legs in the red zone is deadly. And I thought he was crispy in the red zone. Would love to see him play a tick faster and turn it loose. Got a little bit lucky with the throw he made in the middle of the field that got called back, the interception for a roughing the passer, but I thought Justin Fields played fantastic today. And I think if he could just be a little tick better on third down and just see it and rip it, that it would be a lot better overall. In terms of the defense, of course, the winner is TJ Watt, 2 fumbles that were critical for the Steelers in winning this game. In terms of the loser, and I'm not sure how many penalties were called against him, but Broderick Jones is the loser in this game. Broderick Jones, how many penalties were called against Broderick Jones? I'm not sure, but he was getting whooped in this game. And they gave him a ton of help, too, with the tight ends on the edges, creating a C gap, putting another blocker over there, and helping him in pass pro. But Max Crosby is a handful, and he was getting whipped. He was giving it up in this game. And a lot of people online on X were complaining about, and Steelers Freak called him Boondock Jones. That's a great nickname. And a lot of people were down on Broderick Jones. I'm going to say this about him, that he's still a young player. He has all the physical tools. Remember, this is still his second year. He's got to play more football. And I think as he gets better and more acclimated with the pro game and plays more snaps, he'll get better. Remember, they keep changing coordinators as well and offensive line coaches. So he's learned a lot of different things from different people. So it's spinning, and it's probably moving very fast for him. And I'm not sure. James Galway said he doesn't think he's 100%. He may not be, but he needs these reps. He needs to play. This is where you'll really see if he's going to take that step and grow. I'm not sure, and I could be wrong. I'm not sure he started 16 games yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's give him some time. About 24 starts. Let's give him some time there. Let me jump into this comment from Kenneth McNair. Agreed about Fields, and I'm not mad about the failed flea flicker play. I like the attempt. Their defense had a perfect play call to defend it, but we can't ask for creativity and then explain. And I think he's right. And I think the last part of the comment is really spot on. Don't judge the results. Just don't judge the results. Just grade the play and move on. That's it. What do you want to ask, James? Give me a question there. I see you said damn more and a question mark. No real defensive losers. Defense played a solid game. I could say maybe Terrell Austin. I think they started a step slow. Didn't really know what the Raiders were going to come out and do. Raiders moved the ball up and down the field pretty easy, but they adjusted very well. Raiders didn't do much on offense after that first drive. I believe in terms of total offense, I think the Raiders had 275 yards of offense. But it's interesting looking at the stats. Steelers only had 293, but scored 32 points. And that's the difference in turnovers. Turnovers are the be-all to end-all in a lot of these games. And good teams have to win games. They can only win games first by figuring out how to not lose games. And so the Steelers did that very well in this game and did not turn the ball over. But clearly you can see if the Steelers are going to play successful offense, they got to run the ball well. Marcus J. chimed in and said, Austin is a soft defensive call bastard. Marcus, why are you so upset after a victory? Steelers are 4-2 atop the division. Marcus, relax, baby. Get an Iron City, my man. Get an iron. And again, you guys are listening to The New Standard on October 13th after the Steelers defeated the Las Vegas Raiders 32-14 to up their record to 4-2. In terms of what's the other segment I want to jump into? We got the winners and losers. In terms of grades for the game, I'm going to give the offense. I'm going to give the offense an A. Look, Justin Fields didn't throw the ball well, but damn, I should give him an A+. They scored 32 points. Didn't really convert too many third downs, but they scored 32 points. only had under 300 yards total offense, but they scored 32 points. They scored 32 points. Because they scored 32 points, they get an A. They get an A plus. I'm not going to say a solid B. Terrell Alexander, and big up. You sound like a new listener. If you're a new listener, man, please like the program, spread the word, and big up to you. I've been complaining all year, and Marcus J said, what the F? And A, look, they scored 32 points on the road. They may not score 32 points the rest of the season. Anytime this team, as putrid as it has been on offense, for them to score 32 on the road and get 3 rushing touchdowns, come on, man, you got to see the forest for the trees. You got to see the forest for the trees. Would you have given them an A? I'm posing this question to Terrell Alexander and Marcus J. What would have constituted an A? Maybe had they converted more third downs on top of scoring the 32. But hey, man, they scored 32 points. I got to give them an A. I'm going to give the defense an A as well because they held them to 13 points, got 3 turnovers, plus 3. I mean, and I feel you, Marlon Nicholson. And Marlon said it should have been 42 points if they can stop settling for field goals. Now, I'm going to say this, and don't take this the wrong way. That's hella rich, Marlon. This is a team that has not scored 30 in like, I don't know how many calendar months. I think the last time they scored 30 was against Cincinnati, and they got blown out. I mean, come on, guys. Marlon, hey, man, they not going to score 42. 32 is like 102. You got to be happy. You can't be disgruntled with the fact that the offense went out and scored 32 points. Can it be better? Absolutely. Will it get better? Who the hell knows, given this offense and given how uneven they are. But it's a vast improvement from last week against the Dallas Cowboys. They go out on the road and get 32. I know, Marcus J., the Raiders are a bad team. But what would we have said if they didn't get 32 against the Raiders? It can't be both ways. We got to be consistent here. If they score 32, we got to be happy that they scored 32. And sure, is there some meat on the bone? Absolutely. But I'll take the 32 and the dub. Big up to Laura Top Life. What's up with you? Let me jump into this comment here from Terrell Alexander. And thank you, Marlon. This was the first game that they scored 30 plus in 58 games. 58 games. And you guys are going to complain? Shame on y'all. I got to call spade a spade. Y'all tripping. Y'all bugging. I love that y'all support the show, but come on, Marcus J. You bugging, dog. This is the first time they had 30 in 58 games. The bar is low, my brother. So when they get over that bar and get 32, it's all good. It's all good. Let me jump into a comment from Mr. Alexander. Justin had 3 back-to-back incomplete passes. He got bailed out by some BS penalties. Honestly, overthrew Calvin. Najee gets an A+, but not Justin. I could agree with that. I don't think Justin gets an A+, obviously. I'm just grading the offense overall, but obviously I accept that, Mr. Alexander, TA, in the place to be, that you're probably right. You're probably right that Justin probably played a B game. Najee was an A+ game, but and Mr. Tummy said they got 30 at the end of I don't know. I'm gonna trust my man Mel that they scored those 58 games. Even if it wasn't 58 games, 58 games sounds better. It sounds better. And I'm looking up the stats real right. No, the last game last year, the Steelers beat in 2023, they beat the Ravens 17-10 to secure a playoff spot. So big up to Mel for being spot on with those numbers. And big up to Robert. That's right. Let's ride, baby. 4-2. I love the Chicago City flag on Texas. That is hard. I love the Chicago City flag. That is hard. Let me jump into these comments here from Kenneth McNair. The same way we acknowledge we got bailed out by penalties is the same way we had to accept that our own big plays are negated by our BS penalties early this season. We can't have it both ways. But it's BK, have it your way, your rules. I mean, that's what it is. That's part of being a Steeler fan. It's BK, have it your way. You rule. I mean, hey, as fans, we can have it any way that we want. I'm not going to say it's unacceptable to look at the game that way and have it both ways. I'm just not going to choose to do that. I'm saying, look, Justin missed some crucial throws. Yes, but he scored 3 touchdowns. But he scored 2 touchdowns with his legs. They scored 32 points. It's football. It can't be perfect. There's always going to be plays left on the field and always some things that you think you can improve on and do better. But this is a dub. This is an absolute dub. And hey, it is what it is. They go on the road, score 32 points. Holistically, I think when you look at this, and I think Fifi brought it up early in the program about Justin Fields starting, is I'm not sure that Russ is going to start. I think Justin Fields is going to have to drop off of a cliff or get hurt for him not to start. I mean, they scored, they scored 32 points on the road, and they played solid football. I mean, they won a game by almost 20 points. I mean, there's no way that a guy is going to the bench after that. That has at least bought him, some time. And if anything, if Russ starts, he might be rusty. That kind of rhymed. Rusty, that kind of, and you are right, Mr. Tummy. They did score 30 points against the Seahawks. So it wasn't 58 games in week 17 last year, but hell, it's still a long time. The point being, they don't score 30 points often. I think that's what both of you were saying. And like Melvin said, a win is a effing win, period. And Terrell Alexander, TA in the place to be, said no reason to start Russ. I don't know why people keep saying it. I get the curiosity in seeing what he can do, but Justin has to get hurt or play extremely bad. I think that is where it is. They are 4-2 atop to the division. And bottom line, the objective is to win games. So holistically, I think Justin Fields is the starter for the foreseeable future. And what I think we need to be wishing for and hoping for as Steeler fans is he gets better. That he gets better. Because with his physical traits, if he gets better, becomes a better processor, starts playing more freely. And thank you, TA. Big up. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. You're going to enjoy the experience. We want Justin Fields to be the starter. Steeler fans don't want to start over at the quarterback position. Best bet is he plays well. They extend him. He is the guy. He continues to get coached and gets better. That's what they want. And MK is absolutely right. Had they lost the game, the Fire Tomlin chants would have been coming out the woodwork. Like Mel said, enjoy the win. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. And let's hope that the Cincinnati Bungles become bungle-like and lose the game. That's it. That's it. That's it. And thank you, James, for agreeing with the point. But with that, we're going to conclude the program. Steelers jumped to 4-2 with a fantastic win on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders, dominating the Raiders and winning the game 32-13. Big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off that rough loss last week and getting that taste out of their mouth in dominant fashion, going on the road and beating up on the lowly Las Vegas Raiders. 32-13 Steeler win. But with that, we're going to conclude the program. Thank you, York Steel. Thank you for loving the show. Thank you for the contribution. Peace to everybody out there. And as always, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. Go Steelers.